Dang, okay. 50% of people say that inside day is their favorite signal day. Interesting. I did not expect that. Morning, Paulie. Morning, John. Oh, there's only 2 votes. That would explain it. There we go. We get some more votes in there. Tipping the scale a little bit towards the first red, first green. Oh, back to inside day. None of the above, huh? All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. And happy Friday to you all. Been a good week. Been kind of a slow week, I think, as far as the market goes. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not meant for financial advice purposes. This is all for educational purposes only. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please feel free, pause the stream, read through this. Good stuff. Good morning to you all. Can you all hear me okay? Toss a 1 up there if you can hear me, see me. Everything looks and sounds all right. That way we can get going and I can be confident in knowing that my stuff is not looking like trash. GJ today, inside day. We're going to go over, I was looking last night and I threw up in the little Discord channel that, I think that today is looking a lot better coming from the last live stream. There was really nothing that I could do or say. There was really nothing that I wanted to trade the next day either. And it got real late in the session and I ended up taking a long, but it was kind of short-lived and I got up pretty quick. So good stuff. I appreciate that. Looking at the little poll over here, it looks like most people prefer first red and first green day. And I have to agree. But you know what? 3 days of breakout is growing on me, especially when it presents in a certain way. So is the inside day. I do like those inside days, depending on how it sets up. So let's go into a little bit of this. I know. Except I'm not going to make you all sit through me drawing every single one. I already have them drawn out and I put it in a PDF so I don't ever have to draw them again. And I could just go and review this with you all each day, each time we do these streams. And that way new people coming in will have a better understanding as well. And then they can go watch and learn more in my other YouTube videos. I have playlists on my channel if you are new here that talk about every single one of these in detail. So feel free to check those out. All right, so these are the templates that we're looking for. When I go through these little live streams and things and I'm looking for trades, looking for signals and setups, this is what I am looking for in the most basic form of just, hey, this is what the market has done and this is what to look for based off of that. So yes, TR is the box day 1. All of these are day 1 except for like here. Notice I took the 1 and put it outside of the box. That's because that's indicating peak formation high, peak formation low on day 2, 3, and 4. Same thing here. So like breakout or just a large pumping day was the day 1 here. And then day 2 was the first red, first green day behavior. So anyways, let's go back over. Breakout trend trades. This is going to be in either direction. It could be breakout day 1, breakout day 2. I'd get a little cautious on breakout day 3, but it is a market in breakout going in that direction. So, do with that what you will. However, a market that's in breakout, right? So a breakout day, that would be like breakout day 1. Coming outside of a previous day's range, that would be I'll call it day 2, right? So you get a breakout day. This is our signal. They closed outside of the previous day's range. And then looking for 3 levels of drop or, a 3 push pullback. And then measuring, you can measure down from previous day's high, trying to get in somewhere around the low of the day to go vertical back up to the high and hopefully through the high to do a range expansion. You're going to find a lot of these on like Tuesday, Wednesdays. You can also find them, of course, on Friday. Really, you can find these any day of the week. But looking at 3-day setups, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this would be like your Wednesday, this would be like your Thursday, and then today would be your Friday. 3-day rectangles. I like to call these heartbeat patterns because, well, when you think about a heartbeat monitor, it spikes up really aggressive, it spikes down really aggressive, and that tells us, hey, this person has a pulse. Good stuff. So it's kind of like the market, letting you know it has a pulse. So when you have your first day, there's a consolidation or just in general a previous day's high and low, and then they spike the high, and then they close back on the inside of the previous day's range on the first day. That could be like your Monday. That could be like your Wednesday. And then on Thursday, or maybe like Tuesday, they spike down through Monday's low and then pull back up on the inside of Monday's range and close. So this is peak formation high, peak formation low. What does that do? Why does that even matter? It just creates a box. It creates a rectangle. Something like this. And then you're going to have a consolidation on the inside, and that's where I can look for rectangles to form, start breaking out in a direction. I come into a session, and it goes vertical. Now I'm prepared for that trade based off of that template. You can do the same exact thing, 3-day rectangle with an outside bar. So just a day that spikes both sides of the range. But I like to see it when it spikes both sides of the range very aggressively. And then sometimes it won't even close on the inside of the day's range. There's going to be a lot of times when this could even close maybe as a breakout day, something like this. And you're expecting maybe follow-on trade the next day, which could happen. Or you come to the screen and maybe this is a really wide range day, which happens somewhat frequently, maybe like once a month or once every few months. And then on the next day, you get the ascension and the explosion back up towards the other side of the range. And it doesn't have to always get to the other side. But that is a very common pattern as well, which is why it's part of my playbook. Very large range decline days and sometimes incline days, but mainly I'm looking at the large range decline days. I can see them better. First red and first green day templates. Large pumping day, a day that attempts to trade higher in the morning and closes near its lows in the afternoon, closing below the opening price for that day, first red day. On the third day, or maybe even the fourth day, looking for essentially it could be a reversal trade coming off of like the high of the week, back down towards the low of the week. This can also be a first green day. If I were to flip this over, it would try to make lows in the morning and close near its highs in the afternoon, or make its highs in the afternoon, and then looking for the same things. 3 days of breakouts. You have your first day closing outside of a previous day's range, your second day closing outside of a previous day's range. On the third day or the fourth day, so you could be looking at on the third day, they trigger the previous day's high, and that's the day you get your reversal. Hey, fantastic. Or maybe you've noticed that they've closed in breakout for 3 days, and they have not given a good reversal yet. Maybe on the fourth day, that's when you'll get it. If the lower low presents, then I can look for that trade. Of course, this goes in both directions as well. I would just be looking for a higher high instead of a lower low. Inside bar trades. I've only got 2 options. As far as presentation goes, I'm only looking for 2 options. I know that there's a lot of people on Discord. I think his name is John. He only trades, and if he's in here right now, please say hi, unless you're shy, and that's fine too. But I don't think he is. He only trades these inside bars, and he seems to do really well with it. So I'm either looking for a reversal or a range expansion. So you've got your first day, that's going to create your high and your low. The second day is going to be the inside day, the day that doesn't trigger either the high or the low. And then on the third day, I'm looking for one of 2 presentations. Either a stair-stepping 3 levels into the high or into the low, and then at a certain time of day, New York reversal. You get that lower low or that higher high for the squeeze back towards the other side of the range. Beautiful. Or I'm going to look for a inside bar, a range expansion, essentially. And usually these are going to come, and you can just go look at a daily chart. It's really actually not hard to see these. Whenever you have like a breakout day, a day that closes outside of a market that's in breakout, okay? They're expanding in a direction. It could usually be a really big or explosive move. And then you have your previous day's high and low. And then you get that inside day. It's almost kind of like a pause day or a pullback day or a reaccumulation day or whatever you want to call it. And then you get your breakout pullback on the next day, higher high. Maybe they pull back down on the inside of the range. They just made that higher high in either Asia or London. And and then maybe it pulls back, and then you get your vertical move. Now, this is where I would be measuring maybe from high of day to low of day, or maybe the high and low of the inside bar, and then measuring range expansions to the upside or downside, depending on, whatever direction. And I've actually expanded this further, so let's talk about this. I've only expanded it further because these are parts of my playbook, and I've never drawn them out for you all. I've only shown you in the playbook the little, pictures. So looking at the traps, right? The first red day and first green days, they're not always going to play out perfectly. Sometimes they go the other direction. Well, how do I know it's going to go the other direction? Well, if it's been in breakout to one side or the other, so let's say that this is the opening range for the week. All right. And then we get a breakout on make a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And then like Thursday is a pullback. And you think, hey, this is a first red day. I'm going to look for a short tomorrow. But I should also be aware that we're in an opening range breakout and that we might be going vertical tomorrow. But, what do I actually need to look for? The best thing to do is project the closing price from yesterday or maybe even from 2 days ago, and then look at the rectangle. Look at how the consolidation has built. And if it starts breaking out to the upside or the downside, depending on if it's first green day, I am looking primarily at closing price to find these traps. I am only going to take a trade off of closing price for these trades. I'll say that again. I'm only going to take a trade off of closing price for one of these trades. That's my primary level, my primary area of hey, this is doing what it should be doing. I'm going to take this trade. And same thing for first green day traps. Maybe we're in an opening range breakout to the downside, and then you get a first green, and you're like, hey, this is beautiful. I can't wait to take this trade. And then it starts to collapse, and you're like, okay, what do I do now? Again, closing price maybe from 2 days ago or maybe from yesterday, depending on how the market is set up for that day. And then I'm looking for those smaller rectangles on the inside to start breaking out using price action on the day. And I'm doing all of this. Every single one of these templates, I am either looking for a short squeeze or a long squeeze. A short squeeze, long squeeze defined would be lower low, lower high for a long squeeze. Higher high, higher low for a short squeeze. All right. And then my actual entry criteria that I am looking for, I'm going to find one of these templates. And then on the day, I'm looking at the structure of the 5 and the 15-minute chart. I have very objective rules for that. If you are interested in that, I have videos on my YouTube channel. You can just go check those out. I'm looking at the time of day. I'm looking at the, am I in my session? What? I'm not trading in the gap time. Me personally, I'm not trading before 9:30, and I'm not trading before news. If there's FOMC that day, I am not trading that day at all, because FOMC is in the afternoon. You can look at new 15-minute bar. So basically time rotations, 15-minute bar, new hour. And then I'm also going to, once I have a structural break, so if I have a higher high, I'm going to look for 3 pushes back down. If I have a lower low, I'm going to look for 3 pushes back up. Then I'm going to look for a chart pattern to help me confirm that a lower high or a higher low is going to form. Once that pattern gets engulfed to the upside or the downside, I can take my entry. I can look at the 3 push pattern and gauge where that second push was. And I'm going to put my stop above or below that second push. And then I'm going to target either a range expansion of the consolidation, or I'm going to target levels. That's going to be the 100 pip box levels, or maybe previous day's high or previous day's low. That's it. Now, I know that seems like a lot. The only reason it seems like a lot is because I've gone into specifics for each one. You can just master 1 or 2 of these templates, get really good at seeing them, and then move on to the next. Get really good at mastering the entry criteria, and then that's it. You only have to master it once. You'll memorize it. Trust me, I've got man brain. I don't have the best memory, and somehow I have managed to make and memorize all of these things. So just takes a lot of practice and a little bit of memorization. It's not too bad. And then, of course, just pattern recognition, seeing them over and over again. Your main primary levels, of course, being previous day's high and previous day's low. And then where did price close and how did it close? And that's pretty much it. All right. Before I move on, does anybody have any questions about this? Because I noticed that there's a few people that are probably a bit newer in here, which is fantastic. I love to see that. Do any of you have questions? Let's see. Do you have a community where you live trade? I trade on Discord sometimes. What is the simplest form for a beginner? I would say first red, first green day is probably the easiest to spot. The traps are a little bit tricky, so I would say maybe move to those later on. I would master all these first before you start mastering the traps. That's, of course, very opinion-based. Where's this PDF? I've just created it this morning, John. I can post it on Discord. I'll put it in the resources section on Discord. How about that? Do you use closing and breakout? TR, yeah, absolutely. That's why I've drawn a lot of these a certain way. The idea behind closing and breakout to me, John, TR, is that I know Stacey talks about, for those of you who are new here, I learned most of this from Stacey Burke. Also a combination from Beat the Market Maker and many other people. Al Brooks for price action, things like that. But the big idea is that the market only does three things. So like breakout trade, hey, it's broken out in the direction, so it's either going to continue to go higher or it's going to reverse and go back down. I mean like weekly with trade later next. Are you talking about like weekly breakouts, TR? Oh, weekly close and breakout. That kind of becomes a little bit too much for me to focus on, TR. The only thing that I look at with the weekly is going to be, is it the first week? So, like, if I look at the chart and I say, hey, wow, this has been going up for 3 or 4 weeks, and then last week closed in breakout to the downside, yes, I absolutely use that. The other thing I can use is, hey, the weeks have closed in breakout for 3 weeks, and we're going into the 4th. That's extremely important information to me, but that's the only two scenarios or situations that I really use. Sometimes I do notice other things, but I'm not actively searching for it unless it jumps out at me. It just becomes a little bit too much for analysis purposes, and you're adding too many things that me personally, I don't think I need to use. Any other questions? Sir, I wish you had a premium daily live trading community. That's a little stressful for me. I really enjoy the quietness of my trading sessions. How many trades do you take per week? Sometimes I take 5. Sometimes I take 1. It really depends on how hot the week is. This week has been very slow. Last week was also very slow. December, January, usually pretty slow. Can expect probably, February, getting into the later months of the first quarter to hopefully pick up. But I do love this system because of that fact. With swing trading, you might get 1 trade or 2 trades a month or something like that. I've never swing traded before, so I don't know. But I feel like your options are probably very limited. With this style of trading, you can find a trade especially because you have currency pairs. If you have currency pairs, you could probably find a trade every single day. No problem. You can find one of these templates, especially once you get really good with them. But me, I only trade 5 pairs. Index is gold and oil, so a little bit more difficult. I have to be very selective. And that's because I trade futures. All right, I've spent 20 minutes running my mouth, moving my mustache. So let's go into the actual analysis part. So now that I've gone over the actual PDF, and hopefully some of you that may be a little bit newer in here can actually get value from what I'm about to talk about. And then maybe the people that are a little bit older, maybe you all picked up something new and whatever. All right, so you can do this analysis either on a 1-hour chart or a 15-minute. It really does not matter because the most important thing is going to be, how did yesterday close? Did it close completely on the inside of the previous day? Did it give me a signal day? Did it do any of those things? And those are the things that I need to look for and actively, put things up on the screen to give me an idea of what to look for today. So this dotted red line, this dashed red line, is going to be the beginning of my week, and obviously I have my days listed down here. Now I am looking for one of those templates to have taken place over the course of Wednesday, Thursday, and then coming into Friday, so that way I can say, hey, today's the day that I maybe should be taking a trade. Now there is news at 10, and I personally wait for after 9:30, so that's some factors as well. Now, we had a breakout day on Wednesday. They broke out of Tuesday's high. This is also an opening range breakout outside of Monday's high. Monday's the opening range for the week, the high and low of that. I've right-clicked like a weirdo. There we go. Okay, so in fact, I'm actually, these are so close together, I'm just going to do this for sanity's sake. Now, this is a breakout day to the upside. How many days of breakout do we have? This resets, so we get breakout day 1 and 2. Now we have this inside day. They've pulled back. They've gone into this inside bar. So remember, I've either got a stair step to the high, or I'm going to get a parabolic range expansion sort of opportunity. We're going to go up through the high and continue to go up. So I can look at this and say, okay, well, this is consolidation. And then they broke out, and they've kind of done a little bit. You know, if this was going to be a stair step, maybe this is 1, maybe this is 2, maybe this is 3. But the third stair step isn't necessarily happening at the appropriate time. So this little 1, 2, 3 up and maybe a lower low. These are kind of, these are a lot of maybes, right? I'm not 100% sure on this lower low. This might actually just be a higher high and a pullback consolidation. So I'm very okay with watching this and seeing how this continues to play out after 9:30 because I have the stair step to the high. They've triggered the previous day's high. We're at the high of the week. This little lower low down here is still keeping my interest because this might be where the pump began for the pump and the dump. Break in structure, maybe lower low, day 1 of the 3-day cycle, day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 3 was an inside day, so today is now day 3 of the cycle. For those of you who have no clue what I just did, failed breakout at the low of the current week, day 1 of the cycle. Day 2 of the cycle, trending away from day 1 lows. Day 3 of the cycle was inside, therefore has no relevance. Has not done anything. So I need to take day 3 and put it over here. Okay, so is day 3 going to reverse back towards day 1 lows, or is this going to blow off in a direction on day 3 back towards the high? That's really my only questions. I like this though. Tightly coiled, tightly consolidated, coming into the New York session. Not bad. Would you consider the other inside template range expansion? So, John, my other side of the trade would be this was a higher high, and then maybe we've got 3 pushes into the low of the day. Let's go to a 5. Maybe it's a little bit more clean on a 5. So, like, for example, for timing purposes, right? Maybe this was a lower low here, and then maybe we just made a higher high. And then maybe it pulled, this is a lot of maybes again, but maybe it pulls back and goes back into consolidation or something like that into 9:30 and then goes vertical. I would say, okay, that was a higher high, 3 pushes on the day itself for the vertical short squeeze, higher low, higher high, higher low on the day, vertical. And then I would measure from previous day's high to low of day and see, okay, where could we be expanding to? You could even use the high of the week and maybe add a 25 pip distance. The average stop hunt being 25 to 50 pips outside of a range. So, we could add a little bit of that, which puts us up there. Does that answer your question, John? Or have I gone off topic somehow? And you can tell me no if you like. It doesn't hurt me. Sure. Okay. I don't know if I answered your question or if I thought you were asking something different. All right, let's go to US 30. All right, so I got some notes up here. We got 3 days of breakouts. So where was the first day of breakouts? This was the reset. We're still on the front side of a move, so I've got that listed off. Breakout day 1. Then we get breakout day 2 on Wednesday. And then breakout day 3. How in the world do I possibly know that it's a breakout day? It's closing outside of the previous day's range. Okay. These little black lines here are my previous day's high and low. There's the indicator name. And then this gives me my 3rd day of breakouts. Okay, so what would I actually need to be looking for this trade? Number one, I really like to see the front side of a move broken. This one has not been broken. That's okay. So at the very least, I need a lower low. So I'm going to look at structure on the day and see where things could be happening. Okay, we get a higher high over here. No pullback. Then we get another higher high over here. And this pullback is actually valid. Okay, so this is my low. This is my high. The way that I know that is that this went up and pulled back in bars. That created a previous high, and that high was broken over here. They pulled back, but that pullback wasn't valid, so this pullback was the new pullback, and they never went any higher. So this is a good low. Which tells me that I have a lower low in the market. So now I might be able to start looking for a lower high. So I'm going to go down to a lower time frame. I would look for 3 pushes back up towards the high, and then a continuation pattern of some kind back towards the low. And I would be taking this trade back down towards the breakout level. Maybe we're going to go stop out breakout traders who are in the market down over here from yesterday, the higher level longs. Hi, what country are you in? I'm in the United States. All right, everybody good with US 30? Hopefully the thought process really is the most important thing. I have no idea if this is going to play out today. This could just be a work down into the low of the day, and then it goes vertical back up through the high as a trend trade in direction of the breakout. That could happen. $69 people in the stream. I'm going to fish a little bit. I'm going to pull out my little fishing pole. If you're here right now and you're enjoying the content and you find this helpful, please hit that like button. It does help the stream more than you realize. Thank you very much. Let's go on to oil. All right, got some notes up here from last night as well. Cool. So this is also 3 days of breakouts, and counter to US 30, this is actually in breakout to the downside. So again, the market is only going to ever do 3 things. Which state? Dang, you want me to give you my home address too? No, I'm just playing. I'm in South Carolina. Okay, so we're in breakout to the downside. Market's only ever going to do 3 things: breakout trend, breakout reverse, or stay inside of a trading range. Now, the setup being for 3 days of breakouts to look for a higher high and then take the trade in the long direction. Basically higher high, higher low, get in on the higher low. So I need to look at this from a structure perspective. I'm going to cancel these ads for you all so you don't have to deal with that. So there's my lower low down south and then up high. Yeah, the oil short yesterday was fantastic. It was outside of my session, unfortunately, and did not get it. Actually, that engulfment was good, but I think there was no... that was the thing that I didn't get it, was because it was this push 1, push 2, push 3 outside, and then the engulfment down. Yeah. It is pretty, isn't it? The only problem I had with this is it didn't make that lower low that I like to see on the 5. That's okay. That's a very clean chart. And it's actually very clean today as well. So I think that oil is probably going to be, my main focus, if you will. I really like the fact that, yes, it's making higher highs and higher lows on the day right now. And we have a breakout to the upside. Maybe the front side of the move has been broken now for the second time, third time. So what would I actually need to see? Well, I like to take these from the low of the day. The higher high, higher low. So at this point, maybe I could look for breakout, pullback, trend trade. I'm not really sure. Not necessarily, TR. Sometimes yes, because that could be the beginning of the pump for the dump. So like this would be a lower low on a daily scale. Maybe this is push 1, 2, ending in like 3 pushes to the high. And then this lower low, I would look for the 3 push pullback and to go back down there. Out of all the charts that I've seen, this is probably going to be my most clean. So actually, let me go back. I've been a little bit jumbled on this one because I was reading what you all are saying. So let's go over here and just gauge. Hey, this is breakout day 1 to the downside. Second day of shorts being triggered into the market. Third day of shorts being triggered in the market. Breakout day 3. All right, that's where I got that from. So as far as like thought process goes, whenever I see this, the next thing that I should do is number 1, yesterday was a breakout day. So I need to say, hey, this was an inside day, consolidation day. This is a breakout day. Hey, the market only does 3 things. Breakout trend, reverse, or stay in a trading range. So I need to take this and project this across and use that as, I really don't like using the words support and resistance, but also it kind of acts as support and resistance, right? So this could act as resistance now. At the high of the day, this could be an area of trouble for the market to get back, above that area. So if it starts to fail from here, breakout pullback, I need a target down south. Okay. Other side of this, that would be the 3 levels of rise thesis. It's in breakout. I measure 3 levels of rise, which would be about 75, either 75 or 150 pips. Wow, 150s. That's up there. Where's my... Okay, so our peak formation was made at 25. So we've come up 1, 2, 3. So we're at double zeros. We do have 3 levels of rise. 2 and 3. Interesting. Let's go back here. All right, so the next thing, 3 days of breakouts. The very next thing that I do is I'm going to draw a super fancy little line here that means something, but also kind of doesn't, right? That's my front side of the move. Once that's broken, there's maybe a better chance of this actually reversing. We've got a few breaks here, and then now we've broken again. Does that mean it has to go up today? Absolutely not. Man, I like this a lot. I think this is probably going, depending, it could have completely dissolved in the next hour or two, and then I would say it would be garbage. But as long as it stays looking this clean, I'm probably going to be watching this. Let's go to, we're going to gold. Yeah, and it could just be a trending week, TR, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Which is also part of my playbook, which is great. Oh, good. I already have my notes up here. All right, for gold. Lower low on the inside. Other than side of the... Okay, so this is all my notes from last night. All right, this is what I saw last night before coming to the screen today. We had a first red day. They made lows in the morning, and then they kind of came back and made highs in the afternoon, which is problematic. But it was closing below closing price, so I just counted that as maybe this is a lower low on the inside of the current week's range, and maybe today will be the trade. That didn't happen. You can kind of see how that template built, though. Wednesday, breakout day. Thursday, pullback day. And today, a bit of a continuation. Now, this is evolving, and I think that I'm liking this more and more because Week 1, week 2, week 3. We're into week 4. All right. We're into week 4. And then now, in fact, this is important enough that I think I might pull up my playbook and we'll talk about it. We've had quite a few of these in the past few weeks, and none of them have played out. And that's okay. It's going to happen. The variation that kind of looks like maybe is forming is this one. We've built a high. We've traded back up into the high. We've got 3 to 4 weeks of breakouts. Multiple days of breakouts in one direction. We have a breakout that's clean. So we've got people, these breakout traders are sitting here. They're in profit still. Then we had the high of the day. And then we've traded back into the high, and we've got this absolutely beautiful ramp. Man, look at this. Ramping price action. Fuel for the fire on the way back down, if it were to go back down. This was the high of the day before the session began, was this little pen. This might just have became my new favorite. So this is breakout clean. We've got money sitting. We have a base. We've got space for the market to fall through back down to that level. And now I would just be waiting for a possible, I would have to wait for a reversal signal. This is definitely by far my favorite. We will see. I think oil is a close second, but this is by far my favorite right now. All right, last index. Going to take a look at the Russell real quick. This is very different from the other indexes. We had a first red day over here, and then we got a bit of a first green. Big dump down. Didn't come off the low of the week, though. I guess that could be a first green trap, though, huh? I really don't have too much to say about this. Would it be possible to look at HG? Was that copper? Okay, we get a low of week. So this is breakouts that fails, made lows in the morning, highs in the afternoon, closing at its highs, first green. Day 1 of the cycle. Today's day 2 of the cycle. So this is one of those instances, RD, where I would have to come and look at this and say, hey, maybe this trade already happened in Asia. You know, if it's already made its parabolic vertical move, maybe this already happened in Asia. So what would I then be, waiting for now? Maybe nothing. Maybe first green has already played out. In fact, maybe even the reversal is playing out. Similar to, I think, what I just looked at on gold, right? This is 3 sessions of breakout. We're at the high of the week. Ooh, nice. Okay. High of the week being the current week. They made a higher high, then they made a lower low, and then, oh, shoe buddy, look at that. Look at that 3 push pattern. Right up into the high. Very clear. Where's push 2? Well, I think it's probably going to be here. Now we get some move. Oh, this wasn't even in the gap time. This was in the first. Hey, so this is actually set up 110 bajillion% perfect for this short. I don't know if anybody took this or noticed it. Push 1, push 2, push 3. That's a very good 3 push pattern right after a lower low with an engulfment of a peak formation. This is a peak formation high. We got an engulfment of push 2. Enter. I'm going to put my stop above push 2 and then hold this trade for either an expansion of the consolidation, levels, using the 100 pip box, or I can use previous day's high and low as my levels. Okay, this is, if you want to go take a picture of something that's picture perfect, this is it. Cannot be any more beautiful than this. All right. Thank you for pointing that out, RD, but hopefully that clears some stuff up. And if you're out there, you know, taking a picture of this, which I saw that one of you is, I'm not going to fail you and not tell you the rest of the details that you should be adding, in my opinion. Breakout traders are in the market. Base, space. Sorry, this would be your base. All right, space to get back down to this level. Make sure you add the 3 pushes in there. 1, 2, 3. Where the engulfment happened, where you would have put your stop, and why you would have put your stop there, and then where you should have targeted and why. Any other pairs that you all would like to see? Appreciate that, RD. You know, when I hear things like that, hey, you've been helpful, which I get a lot of comments. It cancels out all the negatives, so thank you all for being so positive. Any other pairs that you all would like to see? Let's see, what is the old Bitcoin doing? Goodness gracious, we're up about over 100K right now. Oh, GJ. Yep, good stuff. Oh, that looks terrible. Look at this big, I call this the tortilla chip, which is completely a joke, by the way. It's just basically like a symmetrical triangle. And I've got all these really stupid names for patterns just because it's funny. But it looks like a Dorito. And hopefully I don't get copyrighted for saying Dorito on YouTube, but whatever. GJ. Yeah, sorry. Stop goofing around. Don't eat those things? No. Dollar yen? All right, I'll go to that one next. Oh, natural gas. TR. No, I actually I eat pretty healthy. And you wanted me to break it down in London. All right. So number 1, we can see what happened, obviously, in real time. But what would have actually allowed you to have executed this, or maybe even just kept you out of trying to take something in the wrong direction? Okay. So let's see, what kind of template would you have had? You would have had a breakout day 1, 2, and then today would have been breakout day 3. So the next thing would have led me to be, are we breaking the front side of a move, or are we still on the front side? We are still on the front side of the move. This is my breakout level. I should probably project that across as always. And yesterday was also an inside day, or very close to it. So we've got 3 days of breakouts, an inside day. And then how does it get back up there on the day itself? Man, that's a 1, 2, and 3. Really can't be more perfect than that. And I bet you on a 5-minute chart, it's going to make me even more happy. Yeah, looks pretty good. Okay, so this is the high of the day before the session began. And then it breaks down and goes vertical. So there's a really good opportunity for 3 days of breakouts here, and then I would just take it back to the breakout level or something like that, which is perfect. It's beautiful. Then you get this lower low, right? So this was a higher high. They spike down into the lower low. And you're thinking, okay, probably thinking, hey, it's time to go short because they just made this lower low. They broke the front side of a move. We could even maybe argue that this was like push 1, push 2, and a pause, and then push 3. Really no engulfment, though. 3 pushes back down into the low of the day. Okay, so on that third push, sometimes you're going to get 3 pushes, and then it's just going to keep going, and you'll be like, well, dang. So let's say that I short this, and I'm watching, and I get down to my trouble area, and we just keep on poking our head down and then not going anywhere, I'm getting out. I get out so quickly. I'll get out on a down closed bar because I can see this happening, and it's like, no, they're just playing games. Then you get a higher high in an ascending triangle coming off the low of the day in an up moving market. At the very least, going back to retest the high of the day. This gives you pretty good entry opportunity here. Inside bar trend trade. There's the higher high. 3 pushes into the low. This is probably a range expansion, if I had to guess. Almost up there to that second full. Yep. That's exactly it right there. You said it perfectly. It's basically a creeping trend, right? Creeping trend of the low. 3 pushes into the, what time is that? Oh, 3:30. Beautiful. Natural gas, if you have time, let's do it. I know I have it on here. There it is. Ooh, okay. All right, good template. Let's take a look. How many weeks have we been going up? A lot? None? We still in a range? Range bound? All right, we had previous week's high triggered last week. Previous week's low has not been triggered in a while. Oh, we did trigger it this week, though. Can we get a breakout day 1 to the upside? Then immediately get a first red day. So day 1, basically if I remember the little drawings that I had, this would be your 1, your 2, and then today would be your 3. So this is your large range pumping day. This is your first red. So this is where it opened. Try to make highs in the morning, closing nearest lows, and making lows in the afternoon. Asia was garbage. Broke out. Gap time, lower low. London is garbage. And then now that brings us into New York. So if I was watching this, I would say, okay, this was a first red day. We've made a lower low. It's pulling back. Market only does 3 things. We're in breakout to the downside. Are we going to breakout, pullback, continue? So I'd be waiting for this to pump back up into the New York Open and hopefully not set up for a squeeze to the upside. I would essentially be waiting for it to continue to break down, but this is kind of a scary pattern. We're just chopping down into the low. But that's what I'd be waiting for. I'd be waiting for, let's see, 3 pushes. Boom, boom, boom. Brings us up high, lifts us up. Oh, previous day's high or low, excuse me, can't make it. And then it starts to break down, and then looking for that follow through back down through the low. Okay. Russell, I think we already did the Russell. I didn't really have too much to say about it. We had the opening range. We broke back down. What point do I stop looking for the short? It just keeps making higher highs and higher lows, John. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue tracking the high and the low. This is beautiful. I really like this. The fact that we're making highs and then immediately pulling back, so the low and the high are very close together. It's like this is a high. They broke. Okay, so this is going to be my new low. So if that low breaks, I can look for 3 pushes and a reversal. Now that reversal, this ramp, price should move through this very fast. And it should try and get back to, at a minimum, the base low. But ideally, realistically, and hopefully, this is a 5-star opportunity that goes vertical down to previous day's high. That is a 5-star opportunity for me if it presents perfectly. In which case, I will max leverage. Not safely max leverage. Not over risking. But it has to be perfect. I'm not going to just do that for any old reason. Also, this is coming out of the high here, peak 1, peak 2, peak 3. Yeah, so if it doesn't make a lower low, I walk away because, we get to like 10:30, 11, and they haven't made a lower low yet. I just walk away because this very well could be, and what happens very frequently, something like this. Look at this. Come into the session. Man, wow, this base space, time to take this trade. Okay, it's making higher highs and higher lows right now. I'm just going to wait. Maybe it's going to go down and make a lower low here. No, it didn't. Okay, maybe it's going to go down and make a lower low. Okay, it's getting to the end of the session. We still haven't completed the okay. And you'll see that a lot where it's set up properly or it's the correct signal and you're looking for the correct things. It just doesn't complete the pattern, and that's fine. I think that happened a few times in the past few weeks. Yeah, right here. Like, especially with brand new trends. Like, we're coming off of down close. What is this? 1 day down, breakout day 1. Then you get first green day. Day 1, day 2, day 3 of the cycle. This was also an inside bar. It breaks out. Okay, we're making higher highs and higher lows. There's my high. There's my low. It pulls back and continues to go higher. Okay, timing. There's your high. It pulls back. It breaks higher. There's my low. So this continued to just make higher highs and higher lows. We're into the afternoon hours, right? So that's where structure saves me a lot. Instead of just guessing or trying to pick the high and pick the low, okay, there's an engulfment. I'm going to go short. That's why I wait for structure to play out the rest of the way. Because it saves me a lot. Miko, good morning. Howdy to you. And there will be times, John, and everybody in here listening to this, because I'm telling you right now, I'm a human being. I see things go vertical and just complete an entire pattern or complete an entire move without making a higher high or without making a lower low. And I sit there and I just watch it go. And I'm like, dang, maybe I should adjust my process. And then I remember how often using structure saves me compared to how often it hurts me. Watching a move go vertical without me doesn't hurt me at all. I just didn't make anything, and that's fine. But every other time that I would have entered without a higher high or without a lower low, and then it just keeps on going with the trend and obliterates my stop, that's going to hurt me, right? All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a good stream. I feel pretty good about this. If you're new in here and you have not hit the like button, I really appreciate if you would do that. Maybe leave a comment down below saying that you're new and saying hello. I'll make sure to comment and say hello to you. We're like a little small community over here on the Pips Profit channel. I love it. Good seeing y'all. Good talking with y'all. New video coming out tomorrow here on YouTube. Really appreciate y'all. I'll see you in the next one. Every Monday, every Wednesday and Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, doing these live streams every Saturday or Sunday for long-form content videos. You have a great weekend. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.